So around the winter time, you were just telling me on our commercial break that now is the time where most mold is actually activated.
Most people don't realize that mold grows in a temperature range of up just above 32 to about 150, 160. And mold will grow in your attic right now because on a warm day, it can, even if it's 20 degrees outside, it can be 40 with the sunshine in there.
Yeah.
But what you really have to be concerned about is for the next 10 weeks, we expect snowfall in this area. And when we have a heavy, wet snowfall, your ridge vent, which is at the top of your roof, can become blocked. When that happens, it holds in the warm air that emanates from your living space and goes upwards. And then it is trapped in there and can't escape. With the roofing nails touching the snow outside, they freeze, and then condensation forms on them, and water can actually drip. I have actually opened up a scuttle and poked my head in there, and I felt as though it was raining. Sure. All the sheathing, everything was soaking wet. You have, at that point, the beginnings of mold.
Of course,
mold growth. And it's very important that it's not some time when you want to be crawling into your attic, but a couple of times between now and mid-March, you really ought to poke your head up in there, particularly if you see your ridge vent covered or if you see ice dams forming.
Now, not all mold is really visible to the human eye, right? Because you go in with a high-intensity flashlight. But so if you don't see all black in your attic, it doesn't mean that there's not mold up there.
Mold comes in every color imaginable.
And
black is, everybody knows about the black mold.
Yeah.
But there are various black molds, but there are yellow, chartreuse, turquoise, a ghostly white.
Turquoise.
Turquoise.
I had the ghostly white in my attic.
Yes, you did. But yeah, I've seen it as hanging like a stalagmite in turquoise and chartreuse, and it can change colors over its life cycle.
Oh man! So needless to say, if you've had some moisture in your attic, you're going to want to get that looked at because obviously that can impact your indoor air quality too. I would imagine.
Most certainly.
Yeah.
Make sure that you have a ridge vent on your attic and soffit vents as well. And during that heavy snowfall, after that heavy snowfall, look to see if condensation is forming.
Another question I want to ask you too is: does it make sense? Does it make sense to do an indoor air quality test up in the attic? I'm always surprised at the answer I get back on this one, but I want to ask for our listeners.
I would rather see a swab test than an indoor.
Can you explain why?
Yes, because you're not supposed to do it in the attic. You're supposed to do it underneath the attic, and then you're confused as to, are you getting the air sample from underneath the scuttle from the living space, or are you getting it from up in the attic?
Yeah.
So if you crawl into the attic and actually see something that looks like mold and swab it, it is a yes or no. You do or do not have mold.
Got you. So you send that off to like a laboratory, and they
we overnight it down to Florida, and we know in a couple of days.